Grand Theft Auto needs to return to Vice City for its next installment, Grand Theft Auto 6. Now, before we get started with this video, let me clarify that I'm not a GTA insider, nor have I ever been. Rather, this video looks at a few things and makes an educated argument based on what I present you with. Grand Theft Auto 3 released in 2001 and was actually delayed a month due to the 9/11 terror attacks. Rather than make their next game in the current time, which was becoming complicated in real life, Rockstar did something very smart and instead went back to the decade of excess, the 1980s. Now, something I want to point out is that Ray Machowski mentions that he will see our protagonist in Miami, and we actually see billboards in Liberty City saying "See you in Miami," so it kind of hints at Vice City being the next location after Grand Theft Auto 3. As we know, Vice City, of course, is Rockstar's version of Miami. So the next game in the franchise went back to the 1980s with Grand Theft Auto Vice City and was all about drugs, guns, fast cars, and hostile takeovers. It had a great soundtrack full of nostalgia and was even more popular than its predecessor, Grand Theft Auto 3. Grand Theft Auto 3, Vice City, and San Andreas all occurred in what is called the 3D era of Grand Theft Auto games. Grand Theft Auto 4 and 5, as well as the episodes of Liberty City, are considered the HD era and are not technically in the same GTA universe. With that being said, the two of the three main areas have already been covered by the HD era, Liberty City and San Andreas, although to be fair, Grand Theft Auto 5 completely cut out two cities that its 3D era predecessor had, San Fierro, which is based on San Francisco, and Las Venturas, which of course is based on Las Vegas. Nope, I think Grand Theft Auto will be done with the state of San Andreas for a while, and instead we'll head back to Florida, to Vice City. Now, I've seen a few rumors supporting this theory. Again, rumors, so any GTA insiders that are watching this, especially those more inclined to be jerks, please spare me the lecture. I've already said I'm not an insider, so I'm not saying, that this is going to be 100% accurate. Take it with a grain of salt, take it however you want it. Again, now that I've reiterated that, here it is. The rumors that I have heard about this suggest that the next GTA, presumably titled GTA 6, will be set sometime in the late 70s to early 80s and will be about the drug trade. Now, I want to bring something else up interesting. It might not be called GTA 6 because only present time games were numbered. Grand Theft Auto 3, it was present time 2001. Grand Theft Auto 4, present time 2006-2007. Grand Theft Auto 5, 2013. With all the prior timelines like Vice City Stories, San Andreas, all of those games being set in the past, they're not numbered entries. So if Grand Theft Auto 6 in fact happens in the past, it might not be called Grand Theft Auto 6, it might be called something else entirely. So the rumors, of course, suggest that you'll be able to travel to different areas. The game will be a lot about the drug trade in the late 70s to early 80s, and it will basically lean heavily on a feature that you actually saw in the Scarface game from the PlayStation 2 Xbox era, and that's interesting. The Scarface game, of course, allowed you to buy and sell drugs, and the entire game was based around Tony Montana establishing his empire over again. And, of course, Grand Theft Auto Vice City was a definite nod to the Scarface movie. So it's not entirely a stretch to think that these rumors might be credible. I mean, imagine a Grand Theft Auto game with current generation or next generation graphics, ray tracing, everything, but set in the 1980s like Vice City was, but more gritty, more realistic. And when I say gritty and realistic, I am of course referencing things like when Trevor conducted the interrogation. And of course that was controversial, but imagine how... And Rockstar has always pushed the envelope. In Grand Theft Auto 3, that released back in 2001, people were appalled at the amount of violence that there was in a video game. So they've already pushed the envelope to a certain point, but they keep pushing the envelope every single Grand Theft Auto they release. And of course, the 1970s and 1980s, the drug war between the Colombian cartels and numerous other criminal factions was absolutely vicious. It was brutal, and it would provide Rockstar with the perfect opportunity to again push the envelope. Again, just rumors and hearsay at this point, but it does make sense, particularly considering Dan Houser said in an interview that the current time period was too tumultuous to set a Grand Theft Auto game in due to the social and political divide that grows increasingly worse in real life. So, in Grand Theft Auto, when you can't stay in the present due to real life complications, you go back. Anyway, that's it for this video. Thanks so much for checking it out. I greatly appreciate it. If you did like it, please feel free to hit that like button, share it with others who might enjoy this video, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Also, feel free to follow me on Twitter at Sentinel17.